So I was watching this podcast the other day, and it became apparent to me that the most vocal men on these social media platforms are the ones who only see domestic value in women when they perform free labor. They, let me rewind. A man said that basically rewarding a faithful woman who has been there through the struggles, the struggle love situation, a way of rewarding her is turning her into a housewife. And the woman on the podcast said that rewarding me is not turning me into a housewife. Rewarding me is turning me into a woman of leisure. And the man said, well, that's the same thing. And he was genuinely baffled when she came back to tell him that that is not the same thing. See, back in the day when black women had to go to work for rich white women, and they had to cook and they had to clean and they had to babysit their children. And then after they did that, they went back to their own homes and then they cooked and they cleaned and then they watched their own children. See, the women that they went to work for, those were women of leisure. They didn't have to cook and they didn't have to clean, and they weren't even responsible for the basic responsibilities of caring for their own children because Nana did that. You understand? Then these black women went back home to perform these same duties in their own home free of charge. And I say free of charge because they were contributing equally to the household. They were making sure bills were paid. And they were making sure 100% of the domestic duties were taken care of. And I think that this is the arrangement that a lot of these vocal men on these podcasts and things are looking for today, because they don't really value a woman, and they see inherently that this free labor that a woman gives them in a relationship is the only value that a woman offers. And to this, I say bullshit. If you were to hire a maid and you were to hire a chef and you were to pay for daycare, you would see the value of this woman if she stopped doing these things for you for free. I think this is why men have such an issue with child support. I think this is why men have such an issue with kicking in to do things for women that they are no longer having physical relationships with. And so anyway, I was talking to one of my best friends who is a man, and also spent decades being a pimp. So you can't tell me that I'm not getting information from a man who is not very well experienced in using women for their value, their perceived value. And, one thing that he had to say is that I have to remember that a lot of men on these podcasts and who are very vocal on social media are degenerates.